Howdy, y'all. Caleb here, and we're back for another weekend list review. Scrolling through the GTs that happened this past weekend, I see you guys did a pretty good job this past weekend, including a win for an entire tournament. Well done to Ridge Hanna. We'll look at his list here in just a second. But overall, some pretty good results here. I did notice, as I was looking through these, that we have a lot of skinks showing up, like a big horde of skinks. We have a lot of purple suns, a lot of astrolith uh, banners in our lists, and I think that kind of makes sense as we're pushing those purple suns all the way across the table into the opponent in turn one, and then hitting them with lots and lots of shots from our skinks. What else did I notice? Oh, also, the grand strategies are kind of all over the board. We have quite a few different grand strategies being taken. And so that's kind of cool to see that some of these are viable, that everybody's not honing in on the same one. So that's pretty cool. All right, so first up we do have Season of War GT, and this is a pretty big GT. It was quite a few people, and Ridge Hanna took it out with Seraphon, went 5-0 and won the entire tournament. Nicely done to Ridge. He's been playing Seraphon for a long time. If you're not subscribed to Season of War channel, go go watch him. I'm sure he's going to break this down if he hasn't already, and he'll do a much better job than we will over here. Great channel for battle reports and tactics and all that kind of good stuff. So go go subscribe to the professionals. Anyway, he won a great job there. That's always fun seeing Seraphon take out a tournament. Here's his list, and it's a Fangs of Sotek list, and so that's also nice to see the return of Fangs of Sotek. They've kind of fallen out of favor a little bit, especially in the last edition where we were playing a lot of monsters and Thunder Lizards kind of was favored. But here we have a Fangs of Sotek list coming in strong. So, what's he running? We've got a Slann Starmaster as our general, with Arcane Might as a command trait, and an Arcane Tome as the artifact. This is an interesting little combo, and that gives us, it gives you a reroll. The Arcane Tome is basically it's like a Tixie Grubs, you just don't get the heals, but you do get the reroll. So you get a reroll for casting Unbinding Dispel, and Arcane Tome gives you an extra spellcast. So this is nice because in Fangs you're going to want to use at least one. Well, you're going to use one spell from the Slann to get you some summoning points. And so the Slann, if you're using one for summoning points, you've only got two left. So now with Arcane Tome, you got another one. Now you can still cast Stellar Tempest, which he's taken here, Comet's Call, and one of your endless spells, which he's taken two endless spells here, Purple Sun and Gnashing Jaws. Both great spells right now. Purple Sun will give a -1 to save aura. Pretty big bubble around it. And can insta-remove a model. Let's not forget about that on a roll of a 1. Gnashing Jaws will do some mortal wounds, and it can spike high. It can do a ton of mortal wounds if you roll right against the right target. So both of those are pretty nice to take. So an interesting little combo there with the Slann just to get back that extra spell cast that you would be using for the summoning points. So nice little combo there. Stellar Tempest, of course, is a great spell to kill hordes and stuff. Skink Star Priest with Hand of Glory, always a great pick. Star Priest with Curse, also another good one. And your Astrolith Bearer there with Serpent God Dagger, which you have to take in Fangs of Sotek, but can come in clutch when you insta remove some other model just by getting the right roll. So that's kind of you have to take the artifact. Generally, you don't want this guy in combat, but every once in a while you have something cool that gets pulled off. But the real reason you're taking the Astral Bear, if you're new to Seraphon, is it gives you a +1 to your cast, and it extends the range of your cast by 6 inches, which means you're hitting anything you want with Stellar Tempest. Basically, that's going to have 30-inch range, and your endless spells have an extra 6-inch range when you cast it within this banner's aura. And so Purple Sun, it casts 8, so you're adding 6 to that. It moves 8, and it has that bubble of -1 to save at 6 inches. And so, I mean, you could easily hit the opponent front line turn 1. And now you can put in all your damage that you need to into that unit that's -1 to save. So, a great combo there. I think you'll see that a lot popping up in a lot of our lists. A Slann, Astrolith, Purple Sun. Battle line, we have 2 units of minimum Skinks and then a 30 block of Skinks. And the 30 block does have bolt spitters and clubs. So we're going full damage there. no shields to worry about saves. And that's fine because Skinks in combat are surprisingly they'll throw a lot of dice. So if you buff them up right, they can do some damage. He does have some source guard to go along with the Salon, and then 2 units of 2 salamanders. This is the a Fangs of Sotek list from a year ago, but it's gonna do good now with the right buffs that he's got here. These salamanders are gonna hit real hard. I mean, like they always have. They keep going up in points, but they're still good, especially in Fangs when you can deliver them wherever you want to. He's also got a behemoth, a Bastillon with Arc of Sotek. It could spike you some damage if you're the kind of guy that rolls lots of 6s, but really you're using this as a blocking piece, as a monster to move up the board and to clog up something that doesn't have a lot of rend or mortal wounds. It's going to be a really hard piece to move when utilized correctly. So that's pretty good. He's got a battle regiment and expert conquerors, and he's got all his Skinks and expert conquerors, which I almost thought he was going to have the 30 Skinks in Bounty Hunters, but having him in Expert Conquerors, he's playing a little bit more board control. He's probably shooting them as much as he can before he has to charge them in. That is, 50 Skinks? So in Expert Conquerors, that's 150 wounds on objectives. So it's going to be hard to remove that. Everything's at Bravery 10. And so it's going to be hard to remove those. 116 wounds, 8 drops. So great list there. Well done, Ridge, taking out a big tournament like that. And a good thing that Season of War member won your own GT. That's good. So you can't let anybody come in and win your own GT. So good stuff. Great. Go check out their channel. I'm sure he'll break it down in more detail. Second list from this tournament was Vincent, and he placed 18th, which was great for this tournament. There was a lot of people here. He went 3-2. And it is a Thunder Lizard list. We'll quickly go through this list. He's got Lord Kroak with Drain Magic, which is kind of interesting because you're going to have a lot of endless spells floating around the board. And what Drain Magic does is it lets you unbind all the endless spells that are no longer bound. And so you do that as a spell cast. And so essentially it gives you a second chance to dispel an endless spell if it's no longer bound to the opponent. So an interesting little play there to make sure you can unbind those pesky purple suns or those gnashing jaws or the swords, whatever those spells are that are being cast a lot right now, which is mostly purple sun. Gives you an extra chance to unbind that by using a spell in the spell phase. So pretty cool. Skink Star Priest with Hand of Glory, a Engine of the Gods with Primordial Beast and Sacred Stegodon Helm. That gives you an extra +1 to save. And he's got a Prayer of Heal. So he's probably trying to keep this Engine of the God alive since he's got an extra +1 to his save and heals. He's tanking with this Engine of the Gods, I'd imagine. A Source Astrolith, of course, and put the Fusel on him to do some mortal wounds. Fusel, the Astrolith plus Kroak plus, yep, he's got Purple Sun in there. We'll let you push that thing all the way across the board, whatever you want to. And in this list, because it is Thunder Lizard, we do have 2 Bastildons here. And so now you're pushing out that Purple Sun. And now the Bastildons are hitting with -2 Rend, which is so juicy. That is so good for those Bastildons. Makes yeah, so good. We've got 3 units of Knights. So that's filling out our battle line. What are they in? Are they in Bounty Hunters? They're in Bounty Hunters to do extra damage. And the Star Priest will buff them up quite well. Get a Star Priest, Hand of Glory on them, and hit something with Purple Sun, and you're in business with those guys. So good showing there for Vincent. 3-2. Nicely done. And I think we've got one more list from the Season of War Grand Tournament. This is Michael, and he's also taken Thunder Lizard. He went 3-2 as well. We've got an Astrolith with the Fusel, kind of pretty similar to what we saw in the last one. We've got the Astrolith, we've got a caster, and we've got a Purple Sun. So we're going to be pushing that Purple Sun where we want to in turn 1. This list does kind of a little bit of a combined arms here. We do have some Skinks in a big horde and a Bastildon. So it has some good shooting to hit that target that you have the Purple Sun giving it a -1 to its save. Engine of the Gods with Incandescent Retrosis, so when it gets killed, it has a chance to come back. I like that artifact. Little chancy there on whether it can come back or not, but when it happens, it is a great feeling. Slan with Stellar Tempest, and a Stegodon Chief with Primordial Beast, Cloak of Feathers, Sky Streak Bow, and Beastmaster. All those great things give it lots of extra attacks, makes it faster, makes it last longer, and it's a flying Stegodon. We got another Star Priest here in this list with Hand of Glory, and a Priest for heals. And that Priest will be hanging out with that Bastildon. The Star Priest will be hanging out with the Skinks when it needs to be, and maybe the Knights when if the Skinks are out of position. But a good list there, coming in kind of low at 1965. So going for that Triumph for +1 to wound, 10 drops, 104 wounds. So yep, another good list. 3 and 2 on that GT, but another Astrolith Slan Purple Sun. I think we're seeing a trend here with our Seraphon lists. All right, good stuff. Let's check out the next one. Next up, we have Quest of Champions Heat 4. This was a pretty good sized tournament with close to 48 players in this one. Almost 50 players here. And we had some good showings with Seraphon coming in third place with a 4-1 finish there with Thomas, and then another one here at number 7 with Steven. Both of them were running Thunder Lizards, and both of them came in 4-1. So some great showings there, guys. And let's take a look at their lists. Thomas here, he's his list is named ThunderKroak. That's good. We've got Thunder Lizard, no place for the weak, grand strategy. We do have a Lord Kroak with Stellar Tempest. Can you guess what else is coming in with a Lord Kroak in this list? Let's see. Yep, we got an Astrolith and a Purple Sun. So we notice kind of a theme there. We have an Engine of the Gods as our general with Prime War Beast and Arcane Tome. So making him a wizard. Great choice there, because now you can funnel Lord Kroak spells through the Engine of the Gods as your Skink wizard vassal. And so that makes it nice to where you can keep Kroak back at the back of the board if you need to. Funnel your spells, well, not back of the board, within 12 inches of them. But you can funnel your spells through the engine, who's usually kind of mixed into the fight a little bit more than you want Kroak to be. And the Engine of the Gods taking Hand of Glory, so they can cast that. But it might want to end up casting one of these spells. Like, I'm guessing maybe turn 1, he's casting Cogs with maybe Kroak to make sure it gets it out, and then casting Purple Sun with the engine. So you get that reroll. Or it might be the other way around, since you might not necessarily need the reroll if you don't get the Cogs off. But probably that combination there. We have the Astrolith with Fusel and a Priest with Heal, 5 Source Guard to protect Kroak, 5 Knights, 5 Knights. All of those are in Bounty Hunters. Okay, gives them extra attacks. That's good. Do we have a Star Priest? We didn't have a Star Priest in this list. But we did get the Hand of Glory if we need that from the Engine of the Gods. So those Knights probably aren't putting out quite as much damage. Might be relying on them for screens and whatnot to do a little chip damage if needed. The -1 to save from the Purple Sun definitely helps get them some extra damage through. We do have 5 Chameleon Skinks, nice. And they're in the Warlord Battalion. Chameleon Skinks in Warlord? Yeah, that's right. Chameleon Skinks, just a great little utility piece. A Bastildon with Solar Engine, another Bastildon with Solar Engine. So we got 2 Bastildons here. Your classic lineup. Chronomatic Cogs, Purple Sun, and Linebreaker Battalion for those behemoths. Okay, cool. I like it. Kind of what we're seeing with some of this other stuff. We've got a powerful caster, Astrolith, and Purple Sun to start working damage on them, and then something to shoot. If you can shoot when you've got something hit with a Purple Sun, your damage is going to just be that much better with an extra -1 to the save. all of a sudden all your stuff hits a lot harder. So good combo. Oh, here's one. I was excited when I saw this one. So Steven came in 7th, also went 4-1, and he's in Thunder Lizards. But look at that first right here. We've got Gotrek. I haven't seen Gotrek on the tail in a while. I used to love to run Gotrek. I have my Gotrek sprouted tail, and he's fighting basically as a Seraphon with my army. So I have a soft spot for Gotrek. I like him, and that's fun to see. Going 4-1 with Gotrek, nice. We also got and he's in see that double star. He's in Bounty Hunters, which he can be because he's a hero but not a leader, and so just based on the wording on list building, it's kind of interesting. He can go in Bounty Hunter, same way he could go in like Hunters of the Heartlands. So he gets extra damage if he's going up against Galatian veterans. Pretty cool. Not that he needs that, but it's always nice to add extra damage when you've got something like Gotrek who's going to kill basically whatever he touches. Anyway, we got a Salon Starmaster with Arcane Might, gives him that reroll there, and Fusel on the Salon. I wonder why he's got a Fusel on the Salon. I think I would have slotted that onto something else maybe. Usually I want the Fusel on something that's going to be up in the mix, but maybe he plays his Salon aggressively. Celestial Apotheosis. Okay, so here we go. Hold on. Check this out. We got Celestial Apotheosis, and we have 2 Skink Priests with heals. I think he's wanting to keep Gotrek topped off. Like, Gotrek is not... If you leave Gotrek on 1 wound, he's going to get healed. He's going to get healed. So, I like that. We got a clear strategy there. Keep Gotrek alive. Engine of the Gods, Incandescent Retresses. Maybe it can come back with Beastmaster and Curse. Also a great little prayer there. We got our 2 priests with heal. I like that. And a Skink Starseer with Hand of Glory. So we've got a -1 to save here. And we've also got a -1 to save here. So this is pulling out that, hit a unit for -2 to their save, and then hit them with something else that maybe has a lot of attacks, but not the best but not the best rend. We do have some guard, just 3 units of Skinks. They're in Expert Conquerors. Okay, so just 30 Skinks holding objectives. They will disappear pretty quick in Thunder Lizard, but they're there to hold the points for you. Be screens and whatnot. Bastildon with Solar Engine, and then Purple Sun. So, not a whole lot of shooting. A little bit from the Bastildon, just 1 Bastildon. But that's really kind of it. He's looking to mix Gotrek up and debuff units, and then hit them with probably the Bastildon. You can if the Bastildon's at -3 rend, and you're double firing it, that'll be nice. So interesting. Well done there with a 4-1 with a Gotrek list and just 1 Bastildon. Nicely done, Steven. Next up, we have James, and I think this is the only Koatl's Claw list I saw run in any of the GTs. Maybe I missed one, but I think this is the only one I saw. He went 2-3. So, with Koatl's Claw, you're already fighting an uphill battle. But I think it's a solid list for what Koatl's Claw can do. Let's take a look at this here. We've got a Source Old Blood on Carnosaur. Little overpriced, but it needs to come down in price a little bit. The Old Blood on Carnosaur. But it offers, that +1 to hit if you're using all-out attack on something else. It does have Artifact Blade of Realities, which is okay. Well, it's okay. The Saurus artifacts just aren't the best, to be honest. So there's not really a great one to choose. Blade of Realities will give you some extra damage versus another hero, but it's only on the spear for the Saurus Rider, which isn't even the big attacks anyway. I mean, it's okay for what it is, but yeah. Carnosaurs. One day they'll be good. One day.
Asaurus Scarvet on Carnosaur, which is the much cheaper option for 215. I do think it's more appropriately priced for what it does. That is your general with War Spear and Eviscerating Blade, which is a decent artifact, gives you some mortal wounds, but it kind of conflicts with the Carnosaur's innate ability to explode its attacks on sixes. So that's one of those things that's just frustrating about Koatl's Claw. Like even the innate stuff you have to take, they don't work against each other. So that's needs to be fixed eventually. Beastmaster for that. I mean, the Carnosaurs are a lot of fun, and they're awesome models. Who doesn't love a Carnosaur? This list definitely looks like a buy a couple, start collecting, and build from there kind of thing, because we've got some knights and warriors filling this thing out. We do have an Astrolith Bear there, and we have Quicksilver Swords. Okay, so that's the spell we're gonna be pushing across the board with our Slon, who has the Tixie Grubs and Stellar Tempest. So you should be able to hit those swords onto just about anything because it's got good range, and you're getting an extra 6 inches from the Astrolith. And you should be able to make sure you cast it with the Tixie Grubs on there. We do have a Skink Starseer with, man, I'm gonna have to check what does Fiery Conviction do, man. I haven't seen that in a long time. All right, so I had to go look that up. Fiery Convocation is the one where you roll a dice at the end of each phase, and on a 6 they take D3 mortal wounds. So an interesting spell. You're probably not casting that all that often, as if anything's in range, you're gonna want to cast that Starseer -1 to save spell. So a fun spell though, especially when it works and you like roll a couple 6s and you do the D3 mortal wounds. But I haven't seen that taken on a list in a long time. So cool stuff. Star Priest with a Hand of Glory, which is always good to buff up your Knights, which are all 3 units of Knights are in Bounty Hunter. Tell me they're in Bounty Hunter? Yeah, they're in Bounty Hunters. That's good. Give them extra damage versus Galatian Veterans. And the Warriors are in Expert Conquerors. Okay, good. Then we have 2 units of Chameleon Skinks to cap those objectives in the backfield, kind of put some pressure on them. 13 drops, 1995. There's not really any shooting in this list, which is, you can come across a little trouble that way. And we have a lot of spellcasters. We got 3 spellcasters and the Astrolith, which buffs them. So interesting, like, kind of a you want to get in melee with the Knights and the Carnosaurs, but you got to get your buffs up right. If it doesn't work out right, then those buffs won't happen. But it's all there to make it work. Your Starseer, your Star Priest, giving the buffs to those Knights and then sending them into something important, and they'll do work. They will, but you got to get there. So turn 1, there's not a whole lot to do in this list other than cast Quicksilver Swords and the Slon to do some damage there. So, all right, hey James, keep working it. Keep playing the Koatl's Claw. This just occurred to me. This is probably James B on Twitter, who I follow. I love all his stuff. He does Koatl's Claw stuff all the time, and he's always running the Carnosaurs. And he's not. I don't think he's given up Koatl's Claw anytime. That just occurred to me. This is probably James B on Twitter. If you don't know, go look up Koatl's Claw on Twitter. You'll probably find his stuff. He's always on there with some good Seraphon content. All right, on to the next one. All right, next up we have the G&T GT2. This one was a smaller GT, but it has some names that you'll probably recognize there. I don't know if this was put on by Honest Wargamer or not, but you see some of those names there. And Marc came in 5th with Seraphon Thunder Lizard. He went 3 and 2. And this is a list that I'm a fan of. He has his list name as Jurassic Marc. And there's lots of monsters in this one. So we start off with the Engine of the Gods, Artifact Fusilier Conflagration, Mount Trait Beastmaster, and the heal on the Engine of the Gods. Keep him alive. Your Slon is a general. And this is an interesting take. We got Master of Magic. So by making your Slon the general in Thunder Lizard, you get out of the Prime War Beast command trait. And then you can pick up Master of Magic, which is, just another reroll to casting Unbind Dispel. Kind of like, we have like 3 different ways to get that in Seraphon. So that's an easy way to get that one. spell Drain Magic, which is, we talked about that on one of the previous lists, where you can unbind basically all endless spells that are not bound to somebody else. And so basically gives you another chance to unbind an endless spell, because you're doing this as a spell cast instead of an unbind at the beginning, so, or a dispel at the beginning. So gives you kind of a sneaky way to try to get rid of those purple suns. We do have a Skink Priest with Guidance, which I also like because Guidance gives you an extra command point. Well, it can. You usually have this guy in your Realm Shaper engine, so it goes off on a 4. So a decent chance at another command point, especially when you're getting some from the Slon too. So inevitably, you'll have a few turns where the Slon's dice fail, and you need that one extra command point, and the Skink Priest gives you that option for one. We do have 3 units of Skinks. These are probably just your screens, objective grabbers. Nothing special to see there. 3 Pterodon Riders. Interesting take here. I'm guessing these are just kind of your utility piece. You're flying them around. The mortal wounds are probably a little bonus. It's a little too unreliable without the hero, and only 3 of them, and they're so squishy. They're so squishy. 6-up save, and they don't get the -1 damage. So these things, and their bravery is terrible, so they're going to disappear. So these are probably just your utility piece. Sit them in the back, fly over, grab some objectives, maybe pop off a support hero when the opportunity arises. We also have 2 Stegodons, both with Skystreak Bow in the. Oh, they're in Battle Regiment. Okay, so he's got double Battle Regiment, so he's 2-drop here. So that's good. You'll get to make a lot of priority decisions here. And then 2 Bastildons with Solar Engine. So what is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 monsters here. So not bad, not bad. And it's still got some decent bodies, and it fits in a 2-drop. So pretty good. Well done, Marc. Next up, we have Harambe Heroes and Goldmine Games. They had a GT, pretty well attended, and this is here in Texas, so I recognize these names here. And we had Andrew coming in at 5th, going 4-1 with Seraphon Thunderlizard. He's a really good Seraphon player here in Texas. I've talked to him a couple times at GTs, and so nice to see him up there at 4-1. Let's take a look at his list here. We've got Coalesce, Thunderlizard, Astrolith, Source Astrolith. We've also got a Slon re-rolling its spell with just the Burning Head. Okay, so we just have a Burning Head. I was expecting there to be a purple sun down there. But we have a Burning Head, so that can shoot all the way across the board if it needs to. But we've also got Celestial Equilibrium on that Slon Starmaster, which will buff our Skink Starseer, and a Skink Star Priest. So that Celestial Equilibrium will give them +1 to their casts, as well as the Astrolith is probably within range of them, depending on his deployment, so they can be casting at +2 as well. So that's nice. Starseer does have bind on the spell, so you can capture somebody else's. Maybe this is how he got his purple sun. You can capture other in the spells, so that's fun. Engine of the Gods with Prime Beast, Cloak of Feathers, Beastmaster, and Curse. Pretty standard lineup for the Engine of the Gods there. Does great work that way. A Skink Priest with Heal. What's he got? Does he have a Bastildon? Yeah, probably supporting that Bastildon with that heal. A Star Priest with Hand of Glory, also good. With 10 guard, so that's going to be supporting the Slon if it needs, or is he in? He's in Bounty Hunters with those guard. So the guard and knights are both in Bounty Hunters. So the guard can do quite a bit of damage on their own also. We've talked about that in previous videos. 10 guard is a great way to have a piece that can protect your Slon, hold a back objective, but also fight its way out of a problem when it needs to. 10 Source Knights. Man, I've had trouble running 10 Knights in a unit. It does kind of insulate you from like getting the unit wiped, because that's a lot of wounds. It's 20 wounds on a 4-up save at -1 damage. And you can buff them pretty well. But, I've had problems getting extra, making it worth my time getting that extra damage. But, because unit cohesion does become a problem with them. But at least they're going to stick around for quite some time. So that's nice. And they get buffed by the Star Priest and the Starseer just excellently well. Excellently. 10 Skinks, just fill out your battle line there. 1 Basildon with Solar Engine to do some shooting. And then Kroxagor. Yes, I'm glad to see some Kroxagor popping up. They're in Bounty Hunters, so that makes them hit nicely into some hordes. So a good all-around list, I think. We've got some decent we got some really good spell casting. We've got quite a few bodies there. We've got some decent shooting, and then some horde clearing from the Kroxagor. So, good stuff. Well done, Andrew. Also at Harambe's Heroes GT, we have Elijah. He's been playing Seraphon a long time. Also, he's beaten me a couple times, I think. So he went 3-2 at this one. He's got Seraphon Thunder Lizard, Engine. Oh, let's see. Hold on. We got a bunch. We got 2 command entourages here. So we got extra artifacts. We've got some bounty hunters. Yep, we got 2 extra artifacts here. All right, let's check out these artifacts. Engine of the Gods, Prime Orbeez, Cloak of Feathers, Beastmaster, and Heal. Okay, good. I like Cloak of Feathers on Engine of the Gods and Stegadon Chief. Just a great pick for -1 to hit, flying, and extra 4 inches of movement. So great pick there. Slon Starmaster with the Tixie Grubs. Get those rerolls for casting with Stellar Tempest to blow up hordes. Skink Priest with Guidance. Skink Star Priest with Hand of Glory. And a Skink Star Priest with Bind Endless Spell. Capture you some spells there. Oh, and then a Source Scar Veteran on Cold One. It's been a while. I don't even think they sell this anymore. I think you just have to make your own. A Scar Veteran on Cold One with the Fusel. So he's kind of just running around with that Fusel, just popping off some mortal wounds. But supporting, what's he supporting? Yep, he's supporting 10 knights. All right. Another unit of 10 knights. Maybe this is just my failing. I can't get 10 knights to work for me. But apparently everybody else is. So, we've got the Star Priest is probably hitting those knights with the Venom Staff every turn. And if you can get that on them, I mean, they're gonna put out a lot of damages. And then you support them with the Scar Veteran on Cold One, which has a good command ability, which is exploding 6s to hit. Put them on those Source Knights. Is it in Bounty Hunters? It's in Bounty Hunters. So that can do some work. You can really only get like 7 of those knights in, but they're doing 7 attacks each. Exploding 6s, re-rolling hit rolls of 1, Hand of Glory. It got mortal wounds on 6s to wound, and now they're doing 2 damage, 3 damage on the charge for the spears. So not bad. 2 Stegadons, yeah, in Bounty Hunters. Oh, all 3 of those are in Bounty Hunters. Nice. So we got some hunters looking for Galician veterans in this list. And then a Basildon with Solar Engine to do the pew. And all right, cool. I like it. We got some good monsters here. Some knights. Good stuff, Elijah. All right, and our last list for today, we had a lot. There were a lot of GTs this past weekend. Our last list is the Summer of Sigmar GT, and we've got Jared running Seraphon. He went 3-2. It was a smaller GT, it looks like, but he topped out with the he was the top of the pile for the 3-win team. So good job there, Jared. Let's look at his list. He is in Thunder Lizard. And he's got an Engine of the Gods with Prime Warbeast, Incandescent Retresses, Beastmaster, and Curse. So that's good. Engine of the Gods continues to be a piece in just about everybody's list, especially in Thunder Lizard side. So Incandescent Retresses will, of course, keep him alive. If he dies on a 4-up, he comes back. So that's always nice. A Skink Star Priest with Hand of Glory. Great to add to, what do we got? We got 30 Skinks, so it'll be buffing up those 30 Skinks. A Skink Priest with Heal, probably supporting this Basildon. A Slon Starmaster with Stellar Tempest. Okay. And a Source Scar Veteran on Carnosaur with a Great Blade Fusel Conflagration. Oh, Bonding of the Krondspine, Incarnate of Gur. Here we go. I knew there was one Krondspine in here that I'd seen while I was looking through these. So we do have a Krondspine, 400 points of not dying for 2 turns, and hopefully you can find a monster to kill with it. So it's always it's a fun piece. It's tough to deal with, but it does give you that beat stick that Seraphon doesn't really have. That's going to go like push across the board turn 1 and get into you. So that's good. You've the other players got to deal with that, and while they're dealing with that, they're getting shot by the Bastiladon, by the 30 Skinks. So an interesting combo there. The Scar Veteran, 215, it's cheap enough. I might have bonded it to the Engine of the Gods, but he may have been playing that Carnosaur up close. He may have been running that Carnosaur up with the Krondspine so it can stay within range to issue at command points and whatnot. Because the Engine of the God tends to stay back a little bit until later in the game. And if you lose the Carnosaur, who cares? At that point, the Krondspine's in your opponent. And if it goes wild, fine. Now it just makes it easier for me to get it into your stuff. So that may be why we bound it to that Carnosaur. So we do have quite a few Skinks. What are they in? Are they in Expert Conquerors? One of them's in Warlord. You might as well just put those 30 Skinks into your Expert Conquerors just to give them extra holding power. But Skinks there filling out our battle line, and Bastiladon and a Krondspine. Cool. Krondspine's an interesting piece right now. You're seeing it quite a bit. Not as much as the Purple Sun right now. I can tell you that. Oh man. All right, so that's our last list for today. So in conclusion, Seraphon's is in a pretty good spot. Most everybody was 3 and 2 or higher. Our only one that was lower was a Koatl's Claw list, which we know is struggling. Takes a lot to get a win with those, and so James did good getting some wins with Koatl's Claw. But overall, Seraphon's still in a pretty good spot and can win some games. Throw in there the Astrolith and Purple Sun, followed up with lots of shooting, and you're in good shape. All right, guys. If you ran one of these lists, let us know in the comments below how you did, or if you ran a different list in another GT, let us know. All right, guys.